Hey, happy F Day, all you fathers out there. Playing a little game of Rate of Fire to test out the rules. Very small force, very small and unlikely battle for these guys to win. But anyway, so I've got Russians coming on board here to take this house. That's the objective in 6 turns. Got some hills here, forest, long road, some blocking, hedges, so they're just hindrances. Um, so I did the first turn. Let's talk about rate of fire. It's pretty straightforward, actually. Turn order. It's a very simple turn order. Gave the Russians the first move, but basically you roll for initiative each turn, and then you move in this order. So you have a spotting phase. So, for example, I had some Russians here try to spot the. Excuse me. There's question marks here. Now, obviously, I'm kind of just solo playing it, but I'm just kind of using it as a guide to try spotting and remind myself. But there was a machine gun in here, but it was a question mark. So the Russian spotted, basically rolled on a table, and they failed. It was a pretty hard roll. And so they didn't see it. So that's the spotting phase. You roll for those question marks. And then there's a rally phase, which in the first turn there was no rallying to be done. And then roll for initiative. And then you first side movement. So the Russians moved first. They moved all their guys. These guys all moved up to here at the double. This is forest here. Can't see the forest for the trees because there are no trees. Anyway, so these guys got to the forest. They're half movement moving into that. There's a hill here, so the guys here couldn't see them. I don't see it anywhere in the books, so it doesn't say anything about hills, height advantage, seeing, spotting, doing all that business. So I'm just saying, just like in Blitzkrieg Commander, that the halfway mark on the hill, you can't see. So like they couldn't see him back beyond this point here. Now I do need to find out and remember the spotting inside of forest, because I think it's like an inch or maybe 2 inches or something. It's 4 inches in the forest. So anyway, everyone moves. During the movement, these two had these four, wore these four. These were poorly placed on this road to start out, so they started moving across the road to get over here, because they could tell there was a line of fire all the way down this road into that house, and you would assume the machine gun would be in there. So I thought, well, I'll just dash across. So I at the doubled, and actually what I should have done is probably crawled, and it would have been less likely to hit. Anyway, so I went across. He op-fired, so now he's exposed, or he's spotted. And they lost 2 guys. When you roll you roll to hit, and then you roll to kill. 4 ups plus modifiers, pretty basic. And then if there's a leader involved in the shooting, you roll another die, and if it's a 6, actually, and that's modified for each person that's killed over 1. So there were 2 killed, so you modified that by 1. If I rolled a 5 or higher, the leader was killed. Well, I rolled a 6, so the leader was killed. That basically means they don't have that -1 to morale rolls, and they don't get that reroll, that one-time reroll that the leader gives. They did pass, though, their morale test. So after movement, Germans didn't move. So after the Russians move, the Germans get to move all their guys. And then you have stationary fire. So that's when the op fire happens. So you put a marker here saying they're going to fire on him here. And he fires, and you got him. And then there's moving fire. So if any of these Russians could have fired, which they couldn't have because they all moved at the double and they had no targets, then they would fire. So any moving fire. And that all happens, all the fire happens simultaneously. So if there had been stationary fire on both sides, that would have happened at the same time. Then there's the morale phase, which is then he rolled 4. Again, it's a die number. I've set all their morale at 3, which is good. Lower number is better, because then you add all modifiers and stuff like that. He passed. And then there's a melee phase. If they're within 4 inches of an enemy unit, they can close assault and melee. Can. They don't have to. And then the end phase, they roll for victory, check for force morale. Basically, if the Russians lose 8 guys, I have to start checking for force morale. So So that's that. My plan is the Russians are going to go in here and lay fire down. I don't have smoke. I don't have artillery. I have nothing. So I think that's going to be a problem. But it was just to test the rules out. That's that. The white is the only sheet I had. So it's kind of snowy, but not totally. I don't know. All right, that's that. We'll see you.